Going back to the economic forecast, let's have a look here at the construction. That was really the one that got us out of the bind when our economy had been tanking in the 90s and was picking up in the late 90s and the early 2000s. Construction was the leader. It was the driver, if you will, and it's a $3.5 billion industry. It makes up 5.5% of the state's GDP, and quite frankly, it's the one that has grown larger than manufacturing. In the U.S., manufacturing used to be big. Now it's small compared to construction. The output-input model is when you put $1 million into construction, you get 5.4 direct construction jobs. That is good news. Put in 1, you get out 5. But the better news is, if you look at the total impact, if you put $1 in for construction, you get actually 12 jobs, 5 of which is related to construction, and another 7 that are related as support to construction. That is, jobs that do supplies, jobs that do accounting, etc. So the construction industry, our big engine, we should be very concerned about, because I'm going to give you some numbers now, and it's going to show that as we were so vital, we have now slipped. And because we've slipped, I've got 3 pieces of good news to show you how we're going to try to get out of that and how we're going to try to make an even keel so most of you can stay with your jobs and stay with your employers. The first stimulus is the governor's stimulus package of $1.8 billion worth of infrastructure. She had a CIP strike force. She said, now what are the projects that we've got in the line? What are the ones we can streamline? What are the ones that she said we can put on a website and let the people see where we are and where we're going in terms of this construction industry? And by the way, this does not include the train or the mass transit or any of those funds that come in with that one. So the governor's got $1.8 billion in her infrastructure stimulus package. The next one is President Obama's stimulus package, which I believe just yesterday was signed into law by the president. That is around $1 trillion, even though I guess technically it's $787 billion. But there is some stuff on the periphery, which for round numbers, $1 trillion is probably not an exaggeration. Plus, some have said it may be even more coming down the line in the future. So you've got the governor's package, you've got the President Obama package, and thirdly, we have a highway modernization plan, which puts in another $4.2 billion over the next 6 months. Some of you who are caught in traffic this morning, I'm sure can appreciate that. Some of you who see that we need to get some flyovers, we need to get some lanes increased, we need to get a number of updates, if you will, or modernization of our traffic engineering. You will be very pleased to see that. Plus this point of creating jobs. Every $1 we put into construction creates 5 construction jobs. Every $1 we put into construction has 7 non-construction jobs for a total of 12. So in terms of bangs for the buck, it's certainly a great economic stimulus package. It makes good logic. The last part of the stimulus package is the recreational renaissance of $240 million. That is to update and make new again many of our parks, and particularly our boating areas that are getting not only seedy, they're getting broken down, falling in the water, and quite frankly, a hazard to the health and safety of the people of Hawaii. The governor's 5-point economic plan has, as I mentioned earlier, the $1.8 billion, but it's got 1,521 construction projects statewide. Every island has its fair share. Some of the projects have already been approved by the legislature. Some are shovel-ready. That's the new President Obama term, shovel-ready, to begin in the next, I know it's 6 months. It says they're 18 months. They're going to be beginning in the next 6 months. The highway modernization project is $4.2 billion, as I noted, and it's got 6 years of modernization. Be prepared for 6 years to be slowing down, yielding right away to those construction crew in your highway plans. And the plan is made up of 183 projects. Some of them obviously are going to be in your neighborhood, so be mindful that the congestion the governor's plan is fighting, plus it's a stimulus package, so jobs can be created and the economy can go back to normal. And when I talk about the stimulus package, remember, an economy basically is only made up of 3 things, basically. The first and the biggest thing is consumer spending. 65% of the economy is consumer spending. Another 15 to 20% is investment. Those people who are business people and they buy supplies, they do more machinery purchases, etc. And the third is government. Government, which then is I guess one of the biggest customers because they are the individual ones. But together, these three elements work together to create liquidity, which is basically saying the money flows in and out of the economy, and by flowing in and out of the economy, it is strong. Now, I don't want to give you an economics lesson, but I want you to know the way that an economy shrinks is when people with money hold back their money, and people who don't have the money are not spending their money. And that's where the difficulty is when we need people to get liquidity or get into the economy and spend their money. And those who are the weakest among us, there's going to be a safety net by which I will speak about later on. So construction and the Governor's Renaissance initiative that I just mentioned is going to put a tremendous amount of money into each of the counties. I want to talk particularly about my district. It's District 17. Those of you from Hawaii Kai and Kalama Valley, I want you to know that Honolulu Bay has been targeted for new ramps and new facilities. That is going to be a blessing because we have ramp rage at Honolulu Bay. What? Ramp rage? Yes, that means when canoes, kayakers, boaters, scuba divers, parasailers all convene together at the ramp at Honolulu Bay, which needs to be expanded and renovated to make all of this stuff fit together. One of the more controversial areas is Kaiwi. As you know, my office has worked with the governor and a lot of the community members. And for 30 years of trying, have finally got the reclassification to where the Makai lands on Kaiwi will be put into conservation lands. It will be reclassified. However, one section of Kaiwi, which is in this Renaissance plan, is to propose a new road up to the Makapu'u Lighthouse. That road is a bit rugged, and quite frankly, the state has to guarantee the Coast Guard to be able to get up there safely, efficiently, and effectively. The money to do that and to do all the renovations at Honolulu Bay has a number of people, and particularly boaters, being charged for this. Right now there's a proposal for $1 fee to charge those who are going to be entering into Kaiwi. That has met with opposition. I know Senator Sloan has bought off of that, and we're going to have some community town hall meetings to get your feedback. Should there be a gatekeeper where no local residents are paid entry fees or will be paying entry fees, but only visitors? And one could argue that there's probably going to be so few visitors who would go up to the Makapu'u place that to charge a fee would be an obstruction, and almost would charge a fee to make it an attraction to get more people there. And quite frankly, we want to keep Kaiwi a wilderness area, not one which is an attraction to get even more people. So the Kaiwi and the Honolulu Bay issues are still pending, but the real big one that is probably going to be the biggest controversy is at Kehi Lagoon, where ships, where the slips are going to be made. There's going to be a lot of improvements to the beach park, dry dock, boat storages, and on Sand Island.